PodcastCoug Season 6, Episode 12.
You're listening to the PodcastCoug Radio Network with your host, James Laurie. The PodcastCoug is your weekly Coug on Demand show featuring all things Cougs and Washington State Cougar football. And now, here is your host, PodcastCoug.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the PodcastCoug. I am James Laurie, the PodcastCoug, and you are listening to the PodcastCoug, where we're all things Cougar football, 30 minutes of Coug talk, and we're talking about our outcome from the Oregon game and our upcoming game against Arizona. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Episode 12. Okay. Oregon last week, 38-24. And overall, it was a good effort, maybe a solid effort at times. I mean, we look back, overall at the game, right? And it's like, okay, we're playing the number 3 team in the country. And, and it's just, honestly, it was, they were, because when you go down and look at the first series, right, out of the gate, we score. And then we got that taken away from us, right? What a disappointing, right at the goal line, fumbling, and it was so exciting to see that possibly we'd be 7-up right out of the gate. Of course, that didn't happen, and opening drive, it just felt great, and then all of a sudden, fumble on the goal line, and that's unfortunate, and that's college football, right? And so, you get a tie, at halftime, 14-14, and you think, okay, we're hanging there. We're playing number 3 in the country, right? And you really have to be on top of your game, though, to play a team like Oregon. You just have to be on the top, both sides of the ball. We just couldn't contain their running game, right? Quarterback Anthony Brown and Travis Dye, we just couldn't stop these guys. We couldn't contain them, just like BYU, right? Algier. They've just got better players. It's not the coach. It's the play. The coach isn't on the field making plays. It's the players. And honestly, they just got better guys. They just got better, and more of them. They've got more 4-star guys than we do. And, this isn't about coaching. It's about talent. Yeah, coaching has a lot to do with scheming out, but frankly, on this game, they just got better guys, right? It's all talent. And so that's why they're in the conversation for the college football playoffs, right? We knew it was going to be tough. We knew going in. We knew about Anthony Brown. We knew about Travis Dye. And our hopes were up, though, and my hopes were up, right? Delusional? Maybe. Crimson-colored glasses? Maybe. Hoping for the King of the North? And, yeah. Obviously, it's simple, but Oregon was the better team. And, of course, we were hoping for an upset, hoping for a trap game, hoping they overlooked us, hoping for overconfidence. Simply, that didn't happen this time, right? We've seen it happen in the past. Didn't happen this time. The players on the field play the game, and it's just not an argument this year. Oregon is a better team overall. And so, in fact, they continue to recruit like that. They are the new USC. They have replaced USC in the Pac-12. Nobody else has, right? Nobody. They are the new USC. And whether you want to be in denial or not, Oregon is Oregon. And they've done a great job marketing their school and everything about their program. And, they've got some great depth, and they've got some great years ahead of them. So, you know what? When you get a lead, Mario Cristobal is going to absolutely choke you out on the running game, with their running game. There's no question about it that they did that to Washington State. Just as soon as they got the lead in the second half, they're going to grind it, right? They're going to grind it all the way and secure the win. They're going to choke you out, and that's Cristobal, right? And it's not going to be pretty. They're just going to get points on the board and play to their script to perfection. And, we just made too many mistakes. Autzen is loud. We knew that. We play good down there, right? But it's loud, and the fans are right at you, right? They're just right on top of you. And again, number 3 team in the country, right? We played, pretty decent, especially up to halftime. But come second half, it was all Thibodeau and Anthony Brown and Travis Dye. Those three guys, Thibodeau, Anthony Brown, and Travis Dye, those three guys in and itself beat us, right? So Thibodeau showed up in a lot of different ways, and Oregon really did a great job. I mean, they just don't leave him on the end, right? They put him in three different spot techniques. They put him in the middle linebacker and pass down and get the running start in the center. And the thing about him is that he was productive, right? He had 2 sacks. I think he had 6 solo tackles. Definitely productive. But he probably had a lot more impact than 2 sacks and 2 sacks and 6 solo tackles, right? I mean, he got after, he was very productive, and he got to Jaden. Really, it forced him to throw the ball early. Delore was just not comfortable. Delore had to make really quick decisions. He was just right in front, and he just put pressure on Delore all night long. So Thibodeau, number 1 draft prospect, right, in the NFL, combination of Brown and Dye. We just couldn't contain these guys. We we just can't contain them. And looking back, it's no surprise. We knew that. We were just hoping for that upset. We were hoping for the letdown. We were hoping for the overconfident team of Oregon in the past being on the SI Jinx, the cover of Sports Illustrated, or looking, not that they would look past us, because we are really one of the best teams in the Pac-12, and they knew that. But of course, they have Utah this Saturday, right? Overlooking. They're thinking about championship game. They're thinking about thinking about college football playoffs, and we're thinking about King of the North. And just hoping it was going to be an overlooking situation, but that didn't happen. And I do think that their defense played. I think our defense played okay. Offense was just not executing as sharp as in the past. You have both sides of the ball when you have to play Oregon. You got to be right on. Just right on. So, and we need to finish. We've had that before where we're not finishing. We've had a good year on a few games this year, obviously, but something we've got to work on. We had a problem, in the past, and it's something, a great team finishes, but it comes down to talent. It just, their players are better than our players. And no coach will tell you that when on a press conference. Dickert said, "Oh, this is all on me." It's not on you, I'll take all those guys on Alabama and we'll play Oregon and let's see the outcome. That's going to be a really competitive game. Or Georgia, this year. So it's our guys versus their guys. And, we missed like 2 tackles on the return, their punt return, and we gave them great field position more often than not. Our defense played hard, but they were on the field all night long. And here's the deal: we may not have those second string depth of 3 and 4 star players to rotate, to fresh guys in and out, rotate. We simply don't have that, and this is expected when you're playing a top team. This is what they did to Ohio State. They got an early lead with Ohio State, and then they put a chokehold on you. Of course, Ohio State was their signature win of the year, but we were very important to them because we were second place standing, right? And that that win really helped Oregon, the Ohio State game. And for Oregon this Saturday, I do think they're a better team than Utah, right? I think they're going to beat Utah, and then they're going to play them again in Vegas on December 3rd at that new stadium down there. So that title game, they're going to play them all over again. So speaking of Friday, hey, let's talk about our last home game of the year. Of course, Arizona next, right here on the second half of the Podcast Coug.
Hey, Coug fans. You're podcasting with James Laurie and the PodcastCoug Radio Network. The PodcastCoug is your weekly Coug on Demand show, featuring all things Cougar football in Washington State. To help you get through the week, hit the subscribe button or check us out on iTunes, the App Store, iOS, Google Play, Stitcher, or at PodcastCoug.com.
The real estate agent you work with matters, and a great agent helps you own the home of your dreams. And your dreams come true with James Laurie at Coldwell Banker Bain, representing clients like you 24/7. from condos to colonials and everything in between. If you're selling, buying, need a price analysis, or just a contractor referral, ask James, winner of the 2015 through 2019 International Coldwell Banker Diamond Award, with dozens and dozens of 5-star Zillow reviews and Seattle Magazine's 5-star award winner for 2018 through 2020. James Laurie, Coldwell Banker Bain, at 425-466-3672 or jameslaurie.net. Rock solid results.
You're listening to the Podcast Coug.
Two running backs in with the quarterback. Signals called. All man in motion going through to the right side. Handoff. Reads out to the right side. Touchdown, Washington State.
You are listening to the Podcast Coug.
Welcome back to the second half of the Podcast Coug. I am James Laurie, the Podcast Coug, and we are all things Cougar football, all things Cougs. Big game on Friday, right? Arizona on Friday night. We are 5-5. Arizona 1-9. And their only win was at Cal, 10-3 win over Cal 2 weeks ago, and they're getting better every single week. And heck, they were even competitive against USC earlier this year. I mean, Oregon is no walkover; they're no pushover. Friday night games are tough. They could be. Absolutely wonder about this Pac-12 scheduling right now. Think about this: scheduling a Friday night game in Pullman on Friday when the kids are leaving home for Thanksgiving, right? I mean, you've got majority of the students, they are bolting Friday afternoon for home, wherever they live, unless they're living in Saudi Arabia, or some international travel deal, they're going home, right? So, and guess what? Can you believe that? We're also playing, of course, the Huskies, right? At Beasley. Now, basketball, December 29th, in the middle of Christmas break, right? So talking about the students clearing out, sure, there's going to be a few students on campus, and there's going to be some faculty and some local guys and some local fans, but hey, playing the Huskies at Beasley Coliseum at the end of December when all the students are gone for Christmas break, who schedules these games? Especially we've got the remotest, farthest out university, not only in the country, but in the Pac-12. I mean, right? So who does this? Who schedules it on Friday night when we've got on a football game when the kids are leaving for Thanksgiving break? And who schedules an Apple Cup basketball game during the middle of Christmas break? Who does that? It's just absolutely no concept of what's going on and how our AD approved all this stuff, Anyway, we just take it, move on, but nobody else has these challenges, by the way, with this remote location that we have. Nobody. I mean, you got major markets in most, you got Phoenix, you got LA, now the Oregon schools are 5 hours or 3-4 hours from Portland, but, most everybody's in a major market, so pretty interesting about that. And anyway, back to Friday night, Arizona bowl eligible, of course, on the line. Arizona's going to be coming from 82 degrees in Tucson to 34 degrees in Pullman, right? They're going to freeze, right? Now, the last time Arizona was in Pullman was exactly 3 years ago, November 17th. You remember that score? Wazoo 69, Wildcats 28. Blowout on the Palouse with the Pirate at freezing temperatures. Yeah, it's a brutal blowout for the Cats to hang 69 points while they're freezing their butt off, right? It's Pullman, right? I mean, it is. November is Pullman, but, for this game, it's definitely I'm concerned about this football game, to be honest with you, right? And, I mean, it's kind of that classic trap game for the fans, including myself. Probably have circled this. You guys, everybody circled this game months ago on the calendar, and it's going to be a gimme, right? Gimme. My name is Jimmy, and it's a lock, right? Arizona's a lock at that time. They hadn't won a game in 20 games, or 0 and they were 0-7, 0-8. Then they had that one game against Cal, but we were thinking, okay, this is a lock, right? Heck, and I don't think this is an absolute lock. We got first-year head coach Jed Fish, and he's got these guys playing really hard right now. They've been very competitive in the last couple of weeks, right? Their quarterback can make plays. He can beat you with his feet. He competed. Will Plummer, freshman, local guy from Gilbert, Arizona, and he's a playmaker. And they've got guys on offense too. They're all on scholarship, right? I mean, I know that they had some open tryouts about a month ago. They were looking for any walk-ons, any current student on campus. They had a lot of injuries and they needed some guys. And I don't know if it was their kicking team, but they did have some tryouts for any walk-ons for current students. So, they're kind of thin, but they have some guys, and those guys are on scholarship too, So short week, Thanksgiving break starts, like I said, Friday afternoon. Challenges with the crowd, whether how many students are going to be there. Typically, one of the issues is we tend to play down to teams with low records. It's funny. You go into Oregon, number 3 in the country, and then you come home to Arizona, who's got like one game they've won in the past 20 starts or something. Your calendars are already circled. It's like, man, okay, this is Arizona, no problem, right? They're a basketball school, right? A little concerned about that. That we tend to play down when we don't have to play up, and interesting. It's going to be interesting. Now, it'd be nice, again, McIntosh and Borghi, give them 20 carries each would be great. Okay, let's just have a great ground game. I like McIntosh, vertical. I really like Dion. Something about his vertical runs, more energy, fun to watch. And there's no doubt we're the better football team, right? No doubt. We're just hoping to no letdowns, right? And it's senior day, right? Seniors are going to be playing for their last game in Pullman. They're going to have family there as well, right? And it's very sentimental. It's emotional. 14 seniors are being honored at their last game at the Palouse and Friday night game, and it's going to be emotional for some of these guys, and some of the seniors saying goodbye to Martin Stadium, Max Borghi, Dion McIntosh, Travell Harris, Calvin Jackson Jr., Abe Lucas, Liam Ryan, Jahad Woods, Justice Rogers, Daniel Esom, George Hicks, Tyrone Hill, Jarrett Garantino, and Austin Martin, and Seth Yost. So 14 guys. And honestly, seeing guys like Borghi, McIntosh, Travell Harris, Calvin Jackson Jr., Abe Lucas, Justice Rogers, and Daniel Esom, and Jahad Woods is sad to see them go. It is very sad. And hopefully, if they perform, we got 2 games left, right? We got 2 games. And, I know we're thinking about AC and we're thinking about a bowl game. It's hard not to. And we're going to see those guys again, but it's going to be their last time in Pullman. It'd be nice. Wouldn't it be nice to end the season at 7 games this year? And, of course, AC is no gimme either. Let's hope we're going to get some good weather in Seattle, by the way, coming up. Let's look at that 10-day forecast. Hopefully it's not a big rainstorm like there was for the Oregon game that the Huskies played. I was at that game at Husky Stadium, and boy, it was miserable on the downpour rainstorm we had a couple weeks ago. Let's hope this is dry weather for the Apple Cup. And again, temperature back to Friday with Arizona. Temperature is going to be 34 degrees coming from 82 on Tucson. And so it's going to be interesting, right? And, Jaden Delores from Hawaii, but he's been in Pullman now for a while, but he's tasted our temperatures. So it will be interesting. Let's hope we show up on all 4 cylinders. Hey, that's it for episode 12 of our 6th season of the Podcast Coug. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great Friday night, right? Take care of yourself. It's Arizona at Washington State. God bless, and go Cougs.
You've been listening to the Podcast Coug with your host, James Laurie. The Podcast Coug is your weekly Coug on Demand show featuring all things Cougs and Washington State Cougar football. This has been a presentation of the Podcast Coug Radio Network. Find us at podcastcoug.com.
team.